Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the Hold Tight silver tassel necklace. But before I do that, I just want to showcase some of the beautiful metal elements from Zola Elements. So I have a nice beautiful array here, but let me start by showing you this long necklace, and this is where I just love that you can use a lot of the little components just very simply with some chain. Here's some beautiful connectors and that nice little pendant down there at the bottom. Very, very simple, very sleek. So you can do something that's all monochromatic, or you can take, some of the elements here and actually add patina, and I've added some seed beads there. Now, one thing I want to point out to you that's kind of cool and kind of nifty is that you can see that this is probably the front, right? Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted a little bit of texture, so I flipped it over, and that's the back that I painted there on my earring. So just something to consider that, you don't have to use the front or the back as the front or the back. It's entirely up to you. And this is another great example. You can see that the back of these has that nice little brushed finish to it, but the front has the flat antiqued side. So, front or back, it's up to you to decide. So just some kind of fun little things, and that's why I love how versatile this whole line is. So, we have even some elements like chain here, some other beautiful things, and these are actually kind of cool. So they come with this really big open jump ring on it, so you can just attach it to an earring hook, let it be really, really simple, or you can take this off, add it to something else, so you have these little small components over here. Again, we see that front and the back. The front is hammered, and the back has that little striation happening. So lots of really cool things. So I just wanted to pull out a couple of those examples to pique your design interest, but today I'm going to be working with this really cool little hand pendant. So you can see that it has an open sort of little channel on the back there and a little closed loop at the top. And then if you can just sort of peer through the hand, it has an open loop, but because of the way the thumb is, it is actually closed. So we're going to be doing a little fun technique with that. All right, so to make this necklace, what we're going to need is we're going to need our little hand component here, a little 3-strand reducer. I have 3 of my chain tassels here. I'm going to be using 5mm 20 gauge jump rings in a silver plate. And then I also have these 17mm jump rings, and these are 15 gauge, so they have a nice twisted piece to them, and these are from Nunn Design. I have my little lobster clasp, and then I have some chain here that I'm going to be using as well. And I'm going to be using 36 inches of chain. I want to go for a nice long necklace, but feel free to cut this up and use as you like. All right, so for tools, we're going to need some cutters here in case you do want to cut that chain. And then I have 2 pairs of chain nose pliers. I have my bent nose and my chain nose here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is your chain tassels are going to come with this really thick jump ring attached. And just because I didn't want it to be too chunky, because we're going to attach it to our strand reducer, I'm actually going to remove that. And what I want to do is I want to add on a 5mm 20 gauge jump ring. So you can just go ahead and remove that jump ring and go ahead and set that aside. You can use that for a later project. So I have done that with my other 2 already. So let's go ahead and continue making this part of the component. So I'm just going to take and gently twist my jump ring there, slide it on, and then slide it on to the bottom of the strand reducer and go ahead and close that up. And I'm just going to repeat for the other 2 here. Giving our jump ring a nice little gentle twist, slipping on our tassel, and slipping it on to our strand reducer. So really, guys, the only technique in this whole design is opening and closing jump rings, which makes it really great for a beginner, but also it allows you to really make it your own. So let's say you did want to add something, maybe you wanted to add some crystals or a color. You could absolutely get some eye pins and, make some simple wire loops just to add a little something extra. It is entirely up to you, but that's what I love about this design is it's so nice and versatile. All right. So we have our little strand reducer there with all 3 of our chain tassels here, and I love that they kind of come together and they feel very soft, which is very, very nice. Very luxurious. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to add on one of our jump rings, because what's going to happen is our jump ring here is going to go through the hand and hold on to that piece for us. So let me just give that a nice little gentle twist, and we want to get it pretty far open. You can see that I have it nice and open there. So that's prepped and ready to go. Now what I want to do is I want to take one of my 5mm, I didn't like that one, one of my 5mm 20 gauge, open that up, and I'm going to attach it to the top here, and I'm going to go ahead and close that jump ring, making sure it has a nice flush close there. So now what we want to do is I'm going to hook it onto the 5mm jump ring. And now what I can do is I can feed this through the hand here, going through one side, and it'll come out the other. And just gripping my jump ring nice and tight. I'm going to bring those two ends together. Now this is a 15 gauge, so it's going to be a little tight, but you want to get a super nice closure there, nice and flush. And then just go ahead and rotate that hand from the top, and now it'll look like it's kind of holding on to that chain tassel. So this is our main focal piece here. All right, so again, we're going to take one of our 5mm jump rings, gently twisting that open, and go ahead and attach it to the top loop of the hand and close that up. Again, making sure we have a nice, good closure. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take my main length of chain here, and I want this to be free floating. You can always attach this jump ring to a link in the chain, but it's going to fit through there. And I just want to thread it down through, so it will sit right in the center. There we go. And to either end here, we're going to attach a jump ring. And for this side, I'm just going to close it up, and that'll be the anchor for my clasp. And then to this side, I'm going to take one more jump ring, gently twist it, slip it onto the last link, and slip on our little lobster clasp, and close that up. So now when you're ready to wear it, you just take your lobster, attach it to your jump ring, and you are all set. So we have this nice, beautiful, long chain necklace here, and it has that lovely tassel focal with that nice hand there. It's a nice sort of medieval nod. It's very, you know, it's got kind of a cool style to it. So that is how to make the Hold Tight silver tassel necklace. And this features the Zola elements, which of course you can get by heading over to Beadaholique.com.